Hey, you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you. Sitting there. Do you know who we are?
You with the headphones in.
Yeah. Or you listening to them tactfully placed speakers.
Yeah.
You know who we are?
We're the Protagonist Seat.
And I'm Ian. I'm on this protagonist seat. We share it.
I'm Alex. I sit on the desk part. There's not enough room in the chair.
No, but we both stare wistfully out of the window during class.
I kind of have to turn my body because, my knees would be against the wall if I didn't.
Yeah, it's not very comfortable, but you know what? It works.
Yeah.
It works for us. Anyway, this is our episode.
Yeah, this is where we start. It's the beginning of the end.
Yep. Cue intro.
We do the intro first, but you know what? I'll do it after this time.
Oh. Yeah, that'll be our cold open.
Yeah, we have a cold opening.
for the second to last of this episode of this season.
That means we gotta do a cold opening next week too, because you can't not do a cold opening on the last episode of the season.
Nah, that's how we deceive people.
Yeah.
We break the trend.
Anyway, Goblin Slayer.
Goblin Slayer.
Actually was cool this week.
Yeah, it turns out fighting goblins with a whole bunch of adventures is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's all that happens. We figured out last time that the goblins are going to attack Cowgirl's farm, and he tells her to leave, and she says no.
Yeah, which is dumb.
Yeah, which is very dumb.
Because she's like, I know you're going to stay, so I'm going to leave. And then Goblin Slayer's like, no, but they will do horrible things to you. You will be dead inside after. And she's like, but I want to stay. And he's just kind of like, Soka.
And then he goes into town, and he goes to Budget Kukulane, and he begs him to help him.
And at first, everyone mocks him, because they're like, you fight those goblins.
Goblins are stupid.
We're adventurers,
and
we need quests.
And, yeah, the Kukulane guy tells him, hey, I'm an adventurer. At least give me some kind of reward. And he's like, okay, everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything I have.
You can take literally everything that I can give you. My equipment, all my money, all my stuff, even my life. Which he draws back later, but that's fine. It's a cool moment.
And he kind of sees how serious he is, and he's like, just buy me a beer.
Jeez, you weirdo. Just buy me a beer or something.
And obviously, Goblin Slayer's party agrees to help too, because they all always show up together and they do this. They do whatever the other ones do.
Yeah,
they're a collective.
Yeah, and they're all like, we'll help if you do these things that are character specific to us that shouldn't surprise you as a viewer whatsoever.
And then Guild Girl gets everyone to help by saying, hey, everyone gets 1 gold piece per goblin they kill.
That's a shit ton of money.
And they all freak out and are like, yeah! And so everyone goes.
Literally everybody.
And then the rest of the world is destroyed by some dragon because you had a high-level adventurer fighting goblins.
Yep. You got budget guts.
No, that doesn't happen. Yeah, budget guts.
You got paladin lady. You got
ASMR wizard.
Newbies. You got a girl who I kind of don't recognize who tags along with Budget Guts and Paladin Lady. And those two random dudes who I'm assuming are rogues.
Yeah, a lot of people just are kind of thrown into this.
Yeah, it's basically like, hey, you remember all these people that we showed you? Well, now you're going to watch them fight.
And then they all go to the farm, the goblins show up, and obviously, since Goblin Slayer gave them a whole rundown of his plan and how to fight goblins, they fuck the goblins up.
Yeah, it's great. And then there's like a couple dudes who go into the woods chasing some of them goblins.
Only like 2 dudes die, but they seemed like they were doing something dumb.
And I want to say there's like one more who gets killed by like a flying spear or something that they throw out of the forest.
Yeah, and when they show up at first, they're using meat shields, which are actual girls tied to shields.
Yes, it is quite horrifying, even though they circumvent that almost instantly with planning.
Yeah, they just use spell casting to put all the goblins to sleep, and then they rescue the shields.
Yeah, and then it's fine.
And then Budget Kukulane and Budget Guts are just kind of leading the charge, giving people orders. And you don't really see Goblin Slayer throughout this entire thing, and then at the end of the episode, a couple of the newbies are like, "Where is he?" And
yeah,
then,
what's he doing? Where is he?
and they're like, Where do you think he is?"
What else would he doing?
Slaying goblins. And then it shows at the last second the Goblin Lord, like the Goblin King guy, running away. And then out of the woods, you can see the red glow of Goblin Slayer's eye. And then he steps out, and he's all drawn in high detail instead of being CG like he usually is.
And he's covered in blood, and it's a super cool moment because they're like, hey, we're going to lead up to the last episode. We're going to leave you on a cool moment.
Where Goblin Slayer's going to fuck up that goblin.
Yeah, we're going to watch Goblin Slayer slay a goblin. And it's probably going to be pretty cool.
And that's all that happens.
Yeah,
that's the whole episode, because not a lot happens in this series.
Just a lot of fighting.
It was just cool. It's one of those things where it's never a back and forth between the goblins and Goblin Slayer, or it's either the goblins fuck people up or the goblins get fucked up.
Which is kind of the only way you can really go with, like, regular goblins.
Yeah, but then, like, the goblin champions show up, which are basically the orcs, and then they have to get fought by the skilled adventurers, like Paladin Lady, Budget Guts, Budget Kukulane.
And then ASMR Witch just kind of walks back and is like, hey, can I get a glass of water, please? That's literally what she does, because Budget Kukulane is like, we got this. You go take a break. And she's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, sounds good.
See you later. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed watching them actually fight things. It made me happy.
Yeah.
Because, like...
And we got one episode of it left where we're just probably going to see him kill more goblins, and it's going to end on our adventure is only just beginning, because there's still more goblins kind of note.
Yeah.
Because the series is still ongoing.
I want to see, because Elf Girl naturally is like, if I'm going to help you, I'm going to take you on a real adventure afterwards. And naturally Goblin Slayer's like, yeah, all right. I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, where he has to go and deal with other shit.
Yeah, where he's just, like, fighting other stuff.
Priestess was barely in this.
No, she says she's going to be at the battle, and I don't even remember seeing her.
She's probably with him.
Yeah.
And, yep, that's it.
Yeah. So, Rascal, turns out he does not actually dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I know, it blew my mind.
Also, the show is misleading. She was a bunny girl in episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why he doesn't dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Yeah, because she's not.
Yeah, she's not there.
Then she's just like his girlfriend.
And yeah, in this episode, he explains the whole reason Kaide has no memories.
And I was pretty proud because my guess was correct. She got bullied so bad that her mind basically snapped in half and locked all that stuff away, giving her amnesia. And actually turning her into a different person, which was interesting.
Yeah, because at the end of the episode, she gets her memories back, and instead of being like, Kaide loves her big brother, she was just like, hey, bro, what's up? Yeah. Why are you in my room? Hey. Is this our house? This is weird.
What? Why does my room look so different? What are you doing in here? That's weird. And she even sounds different, which is a really good direction to take that in. Yeah, it's basically just a plot dump, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, the episode is just them kind of he's almost like making memories with her, like they go to the zoo and stuff.
Kaide really wants to go to school. They get a visit from the counselor, who is very supportive, which is very nice and very refreshing. But then he basically just like...
Yeah, I'm sick of those unsupportive counselors.
I know, fuck them, right? Fuck them. But and then he just like walks around with her, and he's like, there's one point where they're walking home, and he's like, we'll go this way. And Kaide says, but that's not the way home. And he's just like, don't worry, it's a shortcut. Turns out, not a shortcut. He was taking her to school at night. At night.
And yep, they sneak into the school, and then she feels better because she technically can check that off her list because she went to school.
She puts a triangle on that entry. And then she wakes up and is like back to pre-amnesia Kaide. So I'm a little curious because like you can't, I don't think they just end the arc with like, oh, Kaide's back to normal, I guess.
No, yeah, because it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the next one. And yeah, my son didn't really do much this episode because he was mostly dealing with his sister stuff. All he really did was just kind of give her and her sister the exposition for how it all happened.
Yeah. My son is away doing filming for an extended period of time, which I just realized makes being an actress a real convenient plot device. So it's like, oh yeah, Mai isn't here because she's off filming something.
Yeah, so they get to get rid of her for whatever the plot is of like the current girl.
Yeah.
And what is it? Oh yeah, we don't get any science girl explanation to Kaide's thing.
Yeah. Maybe that'll come later. Maybe he'll go to science girl and be like, why is she normal again?
Yeah,
why is she normal, science girl?
Here's a concept that doesn't apply to actual like medicine. Like Schrodinger's cat or something like that.
Here's a weird metaphysical concept that I'm going to present you with. Does it make sense? No? That's fine. I'm making coffee out of a beaker.
You want coffee? You want beaker coffee? I'm pretty sure there was acid in this before.
I don't know what was held in it. I'm hoping it's not potassium, because if it was and I put water in here, it's going up. So, I'm eager to see how Kaide arc ends.
Yeah.
Because, like, you left me in a place, rascal. You left me in a place.
Yeah. He looked pretty distraught after when he realized she doesn't have any memories of she now has no memories of not having memories.
Yeah, she is.
That's weird because then that's like probably like a year something gap.
Yeah, that's a pretty big time jump.
Wait, where's mom and dad? Where are we? Why are we in a different apartment?
Yeah, what's going on? Oh, turns out you had amnesia and you just lost like a year of your life. Congratulations.
Also, you made our mom have a mental breakdown as well, so.
Oh, that's gonna be real fun to explain. Yeah, mom's in a mental hospital. Turns out when you went all crazy like Amnesiac, she lost her marbles, dumped them right down the drain.
So I've been taking care of you, and Dad's been taking care of Mom, and it's just kind of worked out that way.
And sometimes we meet up at a cafe, we have a little bit of playful father-son banter, it's fine. I do enjoy that part.
Where he's like, hey,
what's it like being a dad?
Yeah, or when he's like, hey, when things calm down, maybe you should, introduce me to your girlfriend.
Yeah, I want to meet this girlfriend. And he's like, don't worry, Pops, I got you. I got you, fam. I actually like his dad a lot. Even though we only see him for like brief spurts, I like him.
He's trying, but he's just like, he doesn't really know how to best approach any of these situations.
Yeah, he's got a lot of weird shit going on in his life.
He's like, the women in my family just went crazy, so I guess I'm leaving it all on the boy who got sent to the hospital with random scars he woke up with that may have been self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but hope he can take care of his sister. We'll split up. We'll do teams. Yeah. All right, team 1 will be the adults. I will look after a crazy mom.
Yeah, team 1 will be the adults. You kids look after each other somewhere else. I trust you guys.
You guys can live in an apartment together, right? That'll be fine.
I know your sister just had a huge breakdown. You were hospitalized for something, but you guys got it.
You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. And you know what? I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it either.
I'm not.
Because next week we have our last,
Kimi no se. I actually, I started actually listening to that intro, and, after that point,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fine.
Yeah, I like the ending, how it changes. It's every girl for each arc has their own ending.
It's dynamic. And I do like how for Kaide's, like, you know she meets up with Sakuta on that beach, and then they just walk away together. It's great. I like it. It warms my heart.
I did like, too, how it wasn't always about Sakuta, like how my sister, it was just she meets up with Mai at the end with Science Girl. She meets up with Sakuta and the other guy.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
It shows that there's a lot of good thought going into it, which is nice to see. Also, I like the song.
Mm-hmm. And how it's each of the voice actresses singing it.
Yeah, because that's another thing. It changes. The song itself changes because it's different people actually singing it.
Yeah, it's the same song, just different singers.
And that's refreshing, man.
Yeah.
I like the little details in this show. It's nice.
You know another show I like?
Are you going to say Zombieland Saga?
Yes, it's over. It's done.
Yeah, I'm sad, I'm sad to see it go, but I'm happy to watch it walk away.
We haven't saved Saga yet.
We haven't. We did learn some shit, though. We learned some shit this episode. Turns out, Necroducer knows Sakura from high school or middle school.
Will you ever love a woman so much that you will, if she dies prematurely, you will raise her from the dead and have her still carry out her dreams?
I know, like, what? Oh my god. Like, that... I watched... That is a scene that I watched, and then I was like, hold on. I need to go back and rewatch this.
I figured that he would have known her, though, since she died in 2008. It's 2018, and he doesn't look that old. Meaning he had to have been a teenager around that time.
I figured they had to have some connection because Sakura is literally just a random girl. You don't just do that. I
first thought he might have been the truck driver, but no, it turns out it was just a truck driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, in this episode, they convince Sakura to... They basically just kind of threaten her almost of like, we're your friends and we're gonna do this, and even if we fail, we don't care as long as you're with us.
Yugiri has some good personal growth. She slaps someone for a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
Because Sakura is being all down in the dumps about it, and then excuse me, Yugiri just does a full-on slap, and it's real good.
And after she slaps her, she decides to just practice with them. And
to keep this older woman from beating me more, I should practice.
And turns out she maintained a lot of it through muscle memory.
Because she fucking practiced, man. She practiced.
And then they finally have their show, and it's during a snowstorm, and they don't think anyone's going to show up, but...
Because it's one of the worst snowstorms ever.
But they've built up such a fan base over the show that everybody from the previous episode shows up, like the biker girls, Lily's dad, the old people, the
super fans from day one.
Super fans, and just everybody shows up.
It made me real happy.
While they're performing, turns out that place isn't very safe because just some snow causes the roof to cave in around where they're performing. And the whole stage collapses, and Sakura is about to give up, thinking it's because of her bad luck, and then Necroducer just starts clapping slowly, and then they all start, like, the audience starts clapping, and in his mind he's like, go ahead, give it to them, give them what they're here to see, give them what they want, and then they all get up and start singing again.
And there's, like, a moment of realization in Sakura where she's like, oh my god, this is what I meant to do. And then everyone's like, there's like a part where they stop and do like some pose as they wait for Sakura's cue.
I wonder if they're gonna get famous for, like, people probably think like, oh man, they have the weirdest things scripted during all their shows.
These girls are literally indestructible.
They're hardcore.
They've been hit by lightning. They've had their stage collapse around them. Also, unsung MVPs, the roadies, because those were some dedicated dudes to be like, all right, our building has collapsed.
This is clearly not safe to be in.
These people really want to put on this show, though. We're going to put on this show.
And they even do an encore.
Yeah, eventually they get everything all set up. Good enough for Encore.
Because at the end, Sakura gets her memories back and everything's all good, and then Necroducer, the people are screaming Encore, and Necroducer is like, hey, he's like, why are you guys celebrating? We haven't saved Saga yet. Go give the people what they want.
Yeah, it's great. I love him.
Oh, we got something wrong. It's not because of Courtesan Lady that Sakura snaps out of it. It's because of Tai.
Oh, that's right. Because Tai is like...
Yeah, Sakura's still moping around, and Tai runs in, grabs her, and then basically starts dancing and showing her how to do it, because she was the one that taught her.
Yeah, it's this real weird
Because Tai is now, like, sentient.
She is semi-sentient.
She's like a dog.
Yeah, she tries to speak, and she comes out with some weird gibberish.
And, Sakura, and that kind of snaps her back in, and yep, they go and they do the show, and all that stuff we said before happens. And then it ends.
Yep.
And there's a little scene at the end where the journalist guy has a bunch of pictures laid out of Junko, Lily, and I, and he's basically saying, like, something doesn't add up here.
Because he's comparing them to pictures of the members of Franchouchou, who just happen to actually be those people but zombies.
And then it's kind of left off on a to be continued, but I'm not expecting anything. We'll probably get like an OVA in 2 years, like a 3-episode straight to video thing.
Yeah. But I was happy with the time we spent with Zombieland Saga.
It was a good show.
It was.
I liked it. It was fun.
This is definitely one of the standouts of the season, because, like, good golly gosh,
I liked all the characters. There was only like one episode that I didn't like, just it wasn't the strongest.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun show.
This was a fun show that was something different, which is great.
It was an Idol show that I watched. I never watch Idol shows, so...
Me neither.
It basically was like, hey, you know this thing you don't like? Yeah. We put a fun gimmick on it. Oh. Well, maybe now I'll check it out.
Thanks, Zombieland Saga.
Now all we do is Idol stuff. We just play Idol Masters. We play a bunch of Idol phone games where we roll on Idol gachas.
We're Idol men now.
Yeah, all we care about is Idol stuff. You can see us with our glow sticks at the show at conventions.
Welcome to the Protagonist stage, episode 1, where we talk about Idol media.
Yeah, we only talk about Idol stuff on this show now.
Yep, we have evolved. So anyway, we're going to move on to Miss Vampire. She's just a Miss Vampire, and she lives in my neighborhood.
Another show that just aired its last episode.
Yeah. I'm not as sad to see this one go away, but I'm still a little bummed because I enjoyed watching it.
I also didn't think this was a very strong episode.
No, it's just kind of like hey, we had some good times.
The A plot is that Sophie's service online that she orders blood from is currently just interrupted, where they're down for a few days, and Sophie and Ellie are completely out of reserves, so they just decide to tough it out for a few days and just go without drinking blood. And Akari's just like, oh, you guys can drink mine because, I'm weird.
Because I'm weird and I want you to. And they go to they're walking down the street prowling for victims, and they come across a blood bank, and Ellie sees people walk out and they're like, hey, I got some cool sweets for doing that. And Ellie's like,
oh, that's why they're doing that.
Well,
so
I could have way better sweets than that place. And she approaches some random woman and is like, hey, I've got some sweets. You want to give me some of your blood? Doesn't work. Turns out that's not a good marketing strategy.
And then they start getting irritable because they haven't had anything, so they decide to maybe distract themselves by watching a movie. So they watch an
action movie.
Yeah, and then the guy gets shot at the end, and he's like bleeding out, and you can hear their stomachs grumble.
One of the things I loved about this part was like, they watch an action movie and it actually looks, it's not animated in the same style as the show. It's actually animated like you would expect an action anime to be animated.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like that. That's nice. And then they watch a slice of life anime. Turns out those girls, they look delicious.
Yeah. And so that's what happens to them. And Akari then gets depressed, and she's like, why won't you guys drink my blood? And then they're like, well, you're our friend, and, you know, it wouldn't be good to start thinking of your friend as food.
Yeah, it's not a good habit to get into. And
Also, your blood is weird, so we don't want it.
yeah. It's not that hard. Akari's blood, there we go, is just as weird as she is.
So they don't want it.
Nope.
And that's the A plot.
Yeah.
And then the B plot is just Sophie and Akari walking around town seeing everybody who, for some reason, everyone is on a nocturnal schedule.
Yeah, I thought that was real weird that, like, oh, we're going to take a walk. Oh, look, we run into literally everybody, I guess.
Yeah, every character is just out and about.
Because I guess, A, they walk around literally the whole town, and B, everyone in the whole town is on the same walking schedule.
And then at the end, they redo the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Also, it was kind of like a weird scene where they go back to where they first met, and Sophie walks into the woods like 20 feet, and then Akari's
oh, look,
like...
a mushroom.
Yeah, and then Akari's like, oh, I'm scared because I'm alone now and I can't see anything. And then Sophie sees her looking at her like, what's she doing? Oh, that's right, humans can't see in the dark.
But she's like 20 feet away.
Instead of just being like, I'm right over here, she decides to go back and, like, meet her in front of the same tree and repeat the lines that they said when they first met each other.
I can kind of understand the thought process behind it. Like, oh, hey, we're good friends and we're in this perfect scenario. She might appreciate this because she's weird. And it turns out she super does. She's way into it. And then they do that. And then they fly away. Actually, no, they don't fly away.
They decide to walk more.
Yep, because Akari is like, hey, can we walk around a little bit more? And I'm like, this girl has freaking legs of steel, man. She's been walking around for like 7 hours at night. Night is a long time in Japan, I guess, as well. Because they walk around the whole town. And then
either that or everyone's just in this one area.
Yeah, everyone lives together.
And that's the end of Miss Vampire Who Lives in Our Neighborhood. It was
nice knowing you.
It was nice knowing you. I probably won't think about you in the future, but it was nice knowing you. Actually,
No.
I probably will, because anytime I think of a vampire now, like a little girl vampire, because that's kind of a trope and everything, I'll remember Roto Roller.
I'll remember the little anime girl who keeps a body pillow in her coffin.
Yeah, and the really weird gay human girl that lived with her and collected a bunch of creepier dolls, and somehow was creepier than the vampire.
Yeah, I'll probably think of her too.
Yeah. They're like a package deal.
Yeah. Guess what's also a package deal? All the main men in JoJo.
And their standudas.
Stando.
Man, where do we start in this episode? You know what I think? I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
That was pretty good. It turns out we meet Centerfold Part 2, where instead of just existing in reflections...
Yeah, instead of Jay Guile, it's...
oh, yeah, that's right. Jay Guile.
Yeah, it's the man in the mirror.
And that's his power. That's what he does. He pulls people into the mirrors.
Giorno, Fugo, and Abacchio arrive into the town where they're supposed to find... whatever it is the boss sent them to find.
The key to the vehicle that will bring his daughter to safety.
And while they're there, they see a mirror, and only Fugo can see the man in the mirror. And Fugo gets pulled into the mirror world, and Giorno and Abacchio are still on the outside.
But they do a thing where they, like, he doesn't realize it at first. He's like, oh my god, Giorno and Abacchio got pulled into the mirror. And I was like... No, that's actually not what happened. That one I called fairly instantly, is because you can see the trash can in the background and the writing's all fucked up.
Yeah, he figures it out quick enough, though.
Yeah, because turns out Fugo is real smart.
Yeah, we learn about his backstory, that he was this smart kid, but he had a real bad temper. And when he went to he went to a university at like age 13, and
Because he's got an IQ of like I think it's like 156 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it said like 120 or something. That might just be average though.
It's real high. He has a real high IQ. He's real smart.
And he ends up, I guess one of the professors there is a fucking pedophile.
He's a diddler. He goes to school with a diddler.
And Fugo gets real pissed off at him because he keeps harassing him, and Fugo, like, beats his face in with a textbook.
Yeah. A very heavy encyclopedia.
And he gets kicked out of school and then ends up in a life of crime until he runs out and meets Bucciarati.
Because his parents are like, listen, we'll make sure you don't go to jail, but after that, we're just gonna disown you. We will invest the money in the lawyers and the legal fees to keep you out of prison. But after that, you're on your own, kid.
And then he ends up passing pole post tests and becomes a stand user.
And his stand is Purple Haze.
And Purple Haze has a pretty OP ability. If it punches something, it breaks these capsules on its fist, which spread this deadly disease which kills in 30 seconds in like a certain radius around it.
And then dissolves in sunlight.
Yep, and he tries to use his stand in the mirror world, but notices he can't make his stand appear, but his stand appears in the outside, and Abacchio freaks out, and he's like, Giorno, get away from Fugo's stand.
This scene is so long where Abacchio looks visibly terrified, and he's like, no, Giorno, we need to get away from that stand. And Giorno's just like, but what? It's just Fugo's stand. What is it? And he's like, no, Giorno, I'm super serial. We got to get away from that.
I was like, dude, move.
Yeah, if a dude who the entire time is like, listen, kid, I don't fucking like you. I don't trust you. We get a little scene in the car where Abacchio is like, hey, I can tell that this kid is up to something that might get us killed. So I'm not going to trust him. And then the whole time he just like shits on him until this one moment where he's like, Giorno, we got to get out of here. We got to get as far away from that thing as possible. And Giorno's just like, but I don't get it.
Yeah. The whole time, too, I was just like, hey, you should probably move back, considering that guy's been stone-faced this whole time, and now he's freaking out.
Yeah, that is a pretty visible indication. And also, a weird stand just appeared out of nowhere that you don't know what its ability is.
Yeah.
Don't get close to it. Keep away from it. Like, that should be stand battle #1 rule. Don't touch weird stands.
But Giorno seems to have figured something out what Abacchio didn't, because Fugo, being a smart guy, seems to be trying to send a message to them, as he had Purple Haze punch the mirror and shatter it, which happens both in the mirror world and in the regular world.
Yes, which is a very interesting detail to note, even though viruses cannot make the transition to the mirror world, which is another thing we learn about Man in the Mirror. Man in the Mirror!
I liked how it's only objects can exist within there, not living things. So once the crows die, it's like they instantly just appear there because they're just an object after.
Yeah, man, they put so much interesting thought into the stands. I love it. I want to know how many people they have writing these.
And we leave off on a cliffhanger where Giorno decides he's going to go save Fugo, where Abacchio is just like, hey, if it was me that got pulled in there, I would want to be abandoned and you guys to go complete, the mission. That's all that matters right now is the mission.
And then Giorno was like, hey, that's bullshit.
And so they split off, and Abacchio decides to go search for the key, and Giorno decides to go save Fugo.
One of the things I thought was kind of weird is that the enemy stand user, whose actual name I can't remember.
Yeah, Man in the Mirror!
He puts it together instantly, hey, you guys must be here for that famous porcelain dog thing, and it's dog mosaic, and it's like, hold on. There's a lot of things in Pompeii. There's not just that dog mosaic. There could be any number of weird things they could be searching for in Pompeii, instead of just this one specific thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there.
That's a big jump. But is great. I love stand battles. They are very fun to watch.
I, too, enjoy stands.
Stand battles.
You know what else I enjoy?
Is it Double-Decker Doug and Kirill?
Motherfucking Double-Decker Doug and Kirill.
Dude, this episode is so goddamn good.
Doug's fucking dead.
Doug is dead.
Doug is fucking dead.
Doug gets capped.
Doug gets capped, bro.
There's a lot of shit that happens in this
he's
episode.
probably fine. He's Doug.
Yeah, he's probably gonna find some bullshit and be fine.
Anyway,
I hope
Kirill decides to go and join the military this episode.
Yep, which turns out that's a terrible idea.
Because the main bad guy is actually Bamboo Man. I don't know which one's the real him and which one's the fake. I feel like the real him might be the military commander guy, because I feel like looking like Bamboo Man all the time would be fucking stupid.
Yeah, and Kirill and Kirill's brother-sister also don't look like Bamboo Man all the time. I mean, they have kind of a similar pale skin tone, but like...
Yeah.
Anyway, that could just be like a thing.
Turns out Bamboo Man, or Brian Cooper...
Yeah, Brian Cooper
is also from the other planet, and it turns out all that stuff that drunk guy said in that one episode
was fucking right.
Yeah, so he's part of a super soldier program where apparently two groups are fighting on that other planet, and they're using the people of this planet as their guinea pigs to test their combat drugs, which is what Anthem is.
The one thing a soldier cries as he runs into battle, an anthem. And that's what Brian Cooper says. And
yep, they are just guinea pigs being tested, having their combat drugs being tested on them.
Yeah, because they gave Anthem to Esperanza, and they gave
just to distribute.
They gave the anti-AMS technology to
the military,
mm-hmm. to give to make 7-0. It's what like what the fuck?
Yep, and it turns out Kirill and Kirill's sister have some sort of antibodies in their system that are...
They neutralize Anthem with their blood.
Yeah, or they neutralize the overdrive effect or something like that. So the military wants them because if they can figure out how to make it so people don't enter overdrive, then Anthem would be the perfect combat drug.
Although, if you have the technology for the anti-AMS bullets, why not just release like hordes of like bee people or any of the other monsters? Because like, imagine the psychological impact of the enemy shows up, oh shit, it's a bunch of like giant mutant people. And then as soon as the battle's over, you just pew pew, give them their medicine, and then it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe it's because, it's not effective, really. Just
plot.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I guess, if you're trying to win a war and do strategic, things in battle, it's kind of not good to have a bunch of rampaging monsters.
Yeah, probably not. But the members of 7-0 form a plan.
Yeah, they realize, hey, Kirill's in trouble, so they get a bunch of guns. Travis, the boss, basically sends them their uniforms.
He has his secretary take out the twash.
Travis says it's twash day. Here.
Make sure you take out the twash.
And then they basically they decide to ruin Derek's life.
Yeah.
Just while they're at it.
Yep. They use his bus, which is apparently bulletproof.
Also, I didn't know that was mobile.
Me neither. To be honest, I thought it was like a tram car. I didn't think it was an actual bus.
Yeah, Derek's restaurant, they have him drive it and...
assault a military base in it.
Yeah, and Kirill's landlady's there, and she's just armed to the teeth.
Which is hilarious.
And they get in by tricking the military by... They all still wear their 7-0 uniform, and they have Derek and the landlady drive around the bus and, shoot at Dina and Max, but, obviously not intend to hit them.
Yeah.
And they show up with the pretense, hey, this is a rogue group of Esperanza leftovers that we're trying to deal with.
So you guys need to evacuate. And then Doug shows up and is like, hey, we need Constable Vrubel to help us. And turns out that ruse doesn't last very long because Brian Cooper notices that there is a serial number that has been filed off of Doug's gun. And that's a little suspicious, ain't it?
And then he chases them, and he's super strong.
He is Superman.
And they end up going and hiding, and Doug explains his plan is to inject himself with Anthem.
Yeah, that's his go-to is like, listen, the only way we're going to be able to shoot this dude is if I take this Anthem.
Also, they have a bullet that would beat Brian Cooper made out of Kirill's piss.
Yeah, they use Kiro P to make an antibody bullet against the GMS soldiers.
And as they're doing this, turns out Brian Cooper captured Kirill's brother-sister, and like he shows up with him, and he's like, "Hey, I found your brother here," and he's like, "Sorry, Kirill,
I told him everything.
I told him everything. I had to sneak on to see you." And it's like, why?
Why would you do that?
You have no combat abilities.
You have literally ruined the entire plan.
This is a military base. You weren't on the bus, so did you just walk here?
That is a good point. How did Kirill's brother-sister get there? Unless it was part of the ruse the whole time.
Maybe Kirill's brother-sister is actually working with the bad guys.
Or Doug is like...
That was part of Doug's plan.
Yeah, he's got some sort of crazy elaborate plan.
Although I don't think getting shot was part of Doug's plan.
Probably not. If I had to guess, I would say that was not part of the plan.
And we find out what happens next week in the last episode. Double Decker, Doug and Kirill.
So good. Like, Doug gets shot in the chest. Brian Cooper steps on the piss bullet and the Anthem.
And he made it seem like, oh, their plans are foiled, but that's always when things go according to plan.
Exactly. As Joseph Joestar would tell you, that's what I wanted you to say.
Exactly.
Next you say, but your plan can't possibly succeed. And then the bad dude says it and is like, oh my God, Joseph, you're so smart.
Your next line will be, on to Iraduku, the world in colors.
Now, on to Iraduku, the world in colors. Nani? That's going to sound great in headphones.
And yeah, this I think is the second to last episode of this one where they have their school festival.
And it's great, and everyone loves it, and everyone's happy.
And I and Hitomi can't confess their feelings to each other.
Yep, they are both like, I don't want to do it before she leaves.
Until the very last second where she's like, no, there's still one last thing I haven't done.
My one piece of unfinished business. And it's like, cool, you're gonna confess your love to this man and then go meet him 60 years later. If he still lives in that area.
But yeah, they have a lot of fun at the festival. She looks up at the fireworks at the end that her and Kohaku make, and she sees them in color. And she cries because of how happy she is in that moment. She
describes that she has this weird, her heart is doki doki, and she has this weird warm feeling in her chest. And Kohaku is like,
that's called happiness.
That's called happiness, you weirdo.
And then she was like, it was depression the whole time.
Turns out this whole show is just a complicated metaphor for depression. Who knew?
Who knew seeing things in gray and being sad all the time?
Being a mopey motherfucker and literally not seeing color is just a ham-fisted metaphor for having depression. Brought on by, no doubt, the absence of her mother.
I liked the scene with Asagi and Sho where she's like, he's like, hey, I'm sorry I made things complicated with that Hitomi thing. And she's like, don't be. I think it's great to be able to tell someone you like them. And she's like, hopefully I can someday. And as she leaves, he's like, oh, Asagi likes someone. Good for her.
Yeah, he is. There was a moment where I was like, is he still going to be the clueless man? Yes, the answer to that is yes. He is the most clueless man ever.
He just doesn't know.
And we also learned that Glasses Girl has a crush on youngest boy.
Chisuga or Chisuga.
Chigusa. Who knew? We did.
Yeah,
we knew.
They're the odd couple. They're the odd ones out.
I think we pulled out their relationship line like halfway through the series where it was like, oh yeah, and they're gonna be a couple.
Yeah.
Although I am surprised that Asagi and Sho, at least not yet anyway, are not like a couple at the end. Sho is still clueless.
Yeah, and we got one episode left, and I hope we don't focus too much on them because, we got the main people we gotta figure out.
Yeah, we gotta figure out some shit. Because, I mean, she's gotta go back.
Also,
What's that
turns
gonna be
out,
like?
their festival booth, since they teleport people into a picture, is the most popular.
Yeah, it turns out that's a lot cooler than a haunted.
Yeah, it's a haunted house with a single skeleton and nothing else. They just walk through it.
Yeah, he's like, I think the exit's this way, and they take one turn, and turns out that is the exit.
I don't know if that's an actual thing a lot of classes do, or if it's just like a trope that started with like the haunted. It
feels like a big anime thing.
Yeah, because it's always either a haunted house or a maid cafe for most school festivals.
This one has both.
Yeah.
And the twist on this maid cafe is that the maids are the male students.
So it's a butler cafe.
Well, they're still dressed like maids.
Oh, I think I tuned out for that part.
It was when Sho and Asagi go to take pictures of everyone.
Oh, okay.
And they take a bunch of pictures of people we don't necessarily care about.
That's why I didn't care.
Yeah, because we have never encountered those people before. And the only reason I remember it is because I kind of chuckled at it. Because, like, they take the picture of them. There's, like, a girl in a tiger onesie. And a dude dressed as a maid. And they take the picture of him.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, he's super buff. And, yeah, I now remember that. Because I was like, he's weird looking.
Yeah. And then he's crying as they walk away. And then Sho continues to be clueless. And,
yeah, that was that.
That was this week in anime.
That was this week in anime. And
we lost
two shows.
We lost two members, two valuable members of the roster.
Our friends. We lost the undead.
Yeah, we lost one of our favorite shows of the season. But
we lost two types of undead. We lost the vampires and the zombies.
Oh, that's right. So no more undead.
This is a less spooky show.
It is significantly less. I would say the spookiness has gone down approximately 100%.
Yeah. So
unless Rascal takes like a real hard turn next episode.
I hope not.
Me too.
But yeah, next week, last episode of Goblin Slayer, Rascal, Double Decker, and Iraduku.
Yeah, we're winding down.
I say hopefully because that would really suck if we had to do one more week of just where one of them and JoJo have an episode.
Yeah, that would be a real tiny episode.
Yeah.
Well, what we could do for that one is we could combine it with our awards extravaganza.
Yeah, the extravaganza.
The extravaganza.
Where Double Decker and Zombieland muscle everyone out for awards.
Basically.
Where it's just a full-on beatdown, like Goblin Slayer's trying to get up, and you got like Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai just stepping on its head, but then Iraduku it just tackles it from behind, and then you got Double Decker with a steel chair.
Double Decker comes in with a steel chair. Oh, Zombieland Saga's up on the ladder.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. You're in for a treat.
We're going to dole out some awards. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. You're going to be like, those dudes are stupid and all of their choices are wrong.
And then you're going to be like, those awards mean nothing. They're not going to be acknowledged by anyone.
They mean literally nothing. Although it would make my life if, like, for a promo for, like, Double Decker on, like, Blu-ray at Best Buy, on the back, it's got a quote from the Protagonist Seat, like, this show is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this show's great.
Doug gets shot in the chest.
Doug's fucking dead.
Best quotes to put on the back.
Goblin Slayer on Blu-ray. It was okay. The Protagonist Seat.
It feels
YouTube podcast.
It feels like a B plot where the A plot is never explained.
That's good promotional material because at least it's not lying. You know what you're getting into.
It's honest. You can be like, all right, now I have realistic expectations of the show I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, I feel that would help.
Yeah, actually. because I feel like some of the hype surrounding Goblin Slayer did not do it justice.
It was memed.
Yeah.
It was well memed.
And you know what? I think, to an extent, memes are bad for shows.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the shows
Look at Double Decker, no memes.
No memes. Double Decker, fucking amazing. Look at Zombieland Saga. All internal memes. It's in-show memes.
Yeah.
You got Incompa Cop. You got...
Incompa Cop.
You got Truest fans. You got Large Man with Tiny Head.
And giant hands.
Bad Idol CG. Zombies. The dog is just voiced by a man.
Everything is just... It's just good.
It's good. I'm going to be sad to watch this season go.
But hey, we got some cool new stuff to start on soon. We'll be deciding what we're going to watch after, we watch like episode 1 of everything.
Spoiler alert, Boogie Pop is probably going to be on that list.
And, maybe the Shield hero guy one because we're glutton for punishment. So give us another isekai to swallow down with our filth.
Part of me hopes that the one with terrible...
Feed it to us in the dog dish, because that's what we deserve to eat out of.
We need to dumpster dive. We should record this in a dumpster, because we are garbage people who like garbage things.
Yeah, welcome to the Protagonist Seat, the show that's recorded in a dumpster.
In a dumpster that we lit on fire.
Yeah.
We did that.
We wallow in this trash.
We wade through the filth to bring you diamonds. Diamonds, I say.
That's our show.
Yeah. Feel free to lickle and subscribe to our YouTube's channel to keep updates, to keep current with our stuff.
And if you feel that you are also a degenerate piece of trash, maybe you should follow us on Twitter at Protagonist Seat.
And say hi. We like it when people say hi.
Yeah, no one says hi.
I did steal that from another podcast. I stole that from Lore because I do really like Lore. But you know what? I like that line as well. Say hi. I like it when people say hi.
Yeah, no one says hi. Not
no
enough
one
people
says
say hi. Come and say hi. Come visit. No one ever visits. No one says hi anymore.
Come wave to our dumpster from yours.
Yeah, come enjoy the scent.
Enjoy the filth. Anyway, see ya.
Yep,
Take
bye.
it easy.